Alright, welcome to MalFramework tutorial number 11. What we're going to cover is that map cover I talked about. So if you remember when we were in the last video, you looked at the map and you couldn't see the entire kMaN map. That's because I used Malbrins or the MalFramework. I used the map cover. This module covers the map so only a small section is visible for the players. Place down a rectangular area marker on the map and give it a unique name. So in this case, I've set down my marker, which is this rectangular one here. I've named it MRK_AO_1 right here. And I've changed the way it looks in here, and here you can change the size. So that way the players only see this part of the map, and everything else around it was blue. And if you remember in the config for the map cover, you say true, you tell it what marker it's using for the name of to show you the map, and then the color of the area around the map. So that's how you do the map marker, really easy. We'll go over, you see these gear modules. Most of these gear modules, I think all of these actually are SOG Prairie Fire modules. How you would find those is over here in the modules, SOG CLDC mission modules, or these CLDC modules. There's several in here. There's videos all over the internet talking about how to use these different modules. But the ones I used, we'll cover this one right here. This is the radio support module. You need to lay this module down if you're going to use that, like the radio support, fire support module. And the reason I put the module right here is because that is where either mortars or artillery would be. These are actually only big enough for mortars, but I've put the module here because in the game, when the players are located over in the objective area, when they call for artillery, not for airstrikes, but for artillery or mortars, the travel distance and time will be from wherever that module is set. So if that module was set here, then the RD would be shooting from there to wherever you're wanting it to land. And you know, RD usually has quite a long lag time, but from the time you call it till the time it strikes. So I wanted it in a realistic location. Now realistically, I don't even think 120 mm mortars would reach out here. It'd have to be some kind of artillery, but it is what it is for right now, and that's where that module is located. This first module here is enable radio music, and basically I right click it and I sync to a vehicle. So if you notice, these are dark blue lines, whereas these are kind of a turquoise line. These are group 2. So, you know, I want these guys to be in all one team, so they all group to the team leader. These pilots, I want the co-pilot and the crew chief to be synced or grouped to the pilot. I want to enable the radio music module to the vehicle, so I would sync the vehicle to the module or the module to the vehicle. And what that does is when you get in these vehicles, as you can see, I've synced it to the 3 helos and the 3 like resupply, refuel, and repair trucks. That way, when the pilots are in them, they can turn on music, the SOG Prairie Fire like jukebox music or radio music. That's what that module is used for. This one is a SOG Prairie Fire Quality of Life, and right now the only thing this Quality of Life module does is you can provide you earplugs. The next one is Ambient Voices, and I like the ambient voices in SOG. They have quite a few of them, and I wanted you to be able to hear, in this mission, I wanted you to be able to hear the VC or NVA talking. It will also work on, in this case Blue 4, because you're Blue 4. It'll also work on your teammates unless you use the next module, which is Restrict Ambient Voices, and you put in the class names of the playable units that you do not want talking. So I didn't want any of the team members talking, so I've put the class names for all those playable units in there. So if you look at the class name for this medic, just hover over it and it says VN_B_men_SOG_15. This is one way of finding the class names, and sometimes doing it this way is quick, but sometimes it's not an accurate class name. You actually have to go into the config viewer and look at the class names. But in this case, it worked for all of them, so eventually you would find that same class name in here. But all of these playable units are in here somewhere. And this is just a description on how to use the module. The next one is the Advanced Logistics. This is a SOG Prairie Fire module. This allows you to pick up crates. It's similar to ACE Logistics, where it allows you to pick up crates, put them in vehicles, pull them out of vehicles, and so forth and so on. I like SOG Prairie Fire, and I wanted to use or give the players the option to use the SOG Prairie Fire Logistics. You can also use the ACE one in this mission, so you can use ACE or SOG Prairie Fire, it doesn't matter. The next module is basically hand and arm signals. So it doesn't really work in ARMA very well because you really don't have the same kind of situational awareness in ARMA that you would in real life. But when you're patrolling in real life, you use hand and arm signals if you're trying to be quiet. And the recon teams definitely were trying to be quiet, as they might be 6 men going into a battalion or company area, enemy area, or larger, and they're not looking for a gunfight. They're just looking to find the enemy, fix the enemy, and then possibly call in some kind of fire support or naval gunfire or aircraft on the enemy. But for this SOG Prairie Fire, it gives you the option to use hand and arm signals if you want. Most of FK doesn't use them. I've played with one group that did use them, and it was okay for small, like 6 people, and you're in a file. But really, the situational awareness, or SA in ARMA, is quite limited. Which I actually do like third person, because it allows you to be a little bit more situationally aware, but a lot of people don't like third person. And the only number you really need to set is how far out, or the range that you would see these hand and arm signals. Aircraft Master Arm is is kind of like ACE Logistics, and it allows you to like change the pylon. It allows these vehicles, when they go over to an aircraft, you can change the pylon. There's a video on this I can link. Actually, I'll link videos. One guy has made them. I can't remember the guy's name. Something like sirloin steak or something. But he's made videos on most of these modules, which would help you understand them. I'll link them in this video. I think that would be quite useful. But you can also, instead of syncing that module to vehicles, you can just set the vehicle class names in here. But asynced objects have master arm action to allow pilots to manually change aircraft weapon payloads and rearm, refuel, and repair the aircraft. That's what that module does. These modules down here are all SOG Prairie Fire, and this, what it does is allow an establishing shot. So it's like an opening shot at the first of a mission. I don't want to show you that because this mission hasn't been played. But basically you set the grid coordinates and the angles and the camera to fade in and out, and it is of an opening sequence for the start of this mission, and that is what this aircraft you see is used for, is for this establishing shot. Right here is a marker that is used for to end the mission. So if the players go out and there's actually a helo pilot and he infills the team and they do all their stuff in the exfil, depending on how many objectives they've actually completed, he's supposed to land here, which is why I called it the ending HLZ. The pilot will land, and after a certain amount of time, the mission will end. How this is linked to the mission end is this marker is called marker EXT. And if you look in the ending conditions extraction, I put to true, and I put marker underscore EXT. And it needs a percentage of alive players in the extraction zone. I've only put 10%, so only 10% of the players have to be alive in that extraction zone for it to trigger the mission end. And I can't remember why I put task 11 here. I'm going to have to read up on long-range framework. Let's see, what is that ending condition? End condition extraction. Extraction task that will automatically be completed. I might need to take that out because I think if task 11 gets completed, it automatically ends the mission. I think I have to ask him about that. There's a couple, like the ending stuff is a little bit tasks and ending conditions are a little bit complicated in ARMA sometimes. Those are, for me, they're probably the most confusing or difficult to understand and to implement. But we'll go over those in more detail later. Here's where that resupply area was. In the resupply area, you have to, let's go over his resupply, how to set up that resupply. So the supply drop, remember in the admin menu, we did a supply drop. I turned it on, so it's true. Here's the aircraft, which is a Choctaw that will be used. And do I want it to use flares at night instead of smokes? True. Let's go back to core resupply or supply drop. This module has a supply drop option for players with platoon level leadership. The module spawns a plane or helicopter which drops the designated supply crate. So this is the function that calls it and runs the script. And this is the name of it. So whenever whenever I was in the admin menu and I went to supply, well, I wasn't in the admin menu, but when I went into the A self interact and you saw that supply drop, and then it opened up another menu that said either ammo crate or medical crate. I named it medical crate, and then I called the function. So the medical crate 1, the ammo crate 2, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I did have 4, and at the time I made this mission, it was a version of Malvern's framework, which if you used more than I think 1 or 2 crates, the names overlapped each other and you couldn't really tell which crate you were calling. But he's since then fixed that in later versions of the framework. But for this mission right now, you only have 2. And that's how easy it is to set up a resupply drop with Malvern's framework. These map markers delineate basically RVN controlled areas, and this is the PAVN, or the basically the North Vietnamese. All right, it's the end of video number 10 or 11, whichever one this is. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.